They want to hear it. They want it. Give it to them. Don't hide it and tell lies and make stories. They're not stupid. It's their information. It doesn't belong to the Army or the Department of Defense. It's theirs. If it's classified, take the classification off and give it to them.
Go. Into go. Econ. Go. Launch commit. Go. Stand by for mode 1 Bravo. 1 Bravo.
Since his journey to the moon, Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell has met with high-ranking military officers from several countries who admitted involvement with alien technology and hardware.
I talked with people of stature, of military and government credentials and position, and heard their stories and their desire to tell their stories openly to the public, and that got my attention very, very rapidly. The first-hand experiences of these credible witnesses that now in advanced years are anxious to tell their story, we can't deny that. And the evidence points to the fact that Roswell was a real incident and that indeed an alien craft did crash and the material was recovered from that crash site.
In early July 1947, Corso was post-duty officer in Fort Riley, Kansas. There, he claims to have seen a body transported from an airbase in New Mexico.
I went back and there was 5 crates there, like 5 or 6, I think it was 5. I lifted one up and here's this body there and floating in fluid. First I thought it was a child because it was small. Then I looked at this head and all. And this was only happened in a matter of seconds. Then I put the end back down, and the head was different, the arms were spindly, the body it was gray. So right at that moment, I figured, I don't know what this thing is. So like in intelligence business, I just better put it in the back of my head here and wait till maybe in the future I get corroboration so I can evaluate what it is.
This is kind of a closed session here, if you will. So, Philip Corso, if you'd like to step up, sir? Yes, sir. This might be best, sir.
This is Bill Burns, my co-author. Well, the first thing I want to say, I was asked if I had anything to say. The book, we tried to write it as a truth as I lived it and saw it. I was very proud to say I commanded a combat battalion. I had 1,500 soldiers. Average age was 19 and a half. Those boys didn't panic. They fought the greatest armies the world has ever seen and defeated them and destroyed them. Those boys didn't panic. And the young people today are not going to panic. Let's tell them the truth. They want to hear it. They keep asking me, tell us the truth. Of course, for many years I couldn't talk. My own family, my son sitting back there, he criticized me. He said, 35 years you waited and you didn't say anything. That's right. I had an oath with the general until he died that I couldn't speak. And we had an oath among ourselves that we were going to talk about this. We succeeded in our mission. We failed in some things we were doing, but we succeeded in quite a bit. So about 3 years ago when the general died, my 3 little grandsons who were sitting back there, they came to me and they said, Granddad, what did you do during the war? So I figured, well, if nothing else, I better start writing and leave these little boys a legacy. Because I'm 82 years old now. And I started to write, and from that, this evolved. Because this is what the people and the young people want to hear. And I wrote this within mind, tell it to them. They're the ones who are going to carry on after us. They want to know. And I'll tell you, there's other people who come forward. I've had phone calls already from friends of mine. But they will, at the right time, they'll start to talk. I had a lieutenant general friend of mine, we were colonels together. He called me and he said, Phil, I know when you headed the team on the line in Adams in the Nevels, and you had German scientists, I know all about that. And he knows about it. So people are going to come forward to start confronting it now that it's out. One interview yesterday, I was told that somebody called me a kook. So, well, I expected that. But I'll tell you one thing. First, let them challenge me personally if they will, if they have a nerve to do it. Number 2, I told them, I'm in very good company. Let me name them. General Marshall believed, General MacArthur believed, even Jimmy Carter believed, Von Braun believed, General Trudeau believed, and I can go on and on. I'm in the great Canadian genius, Wilbur Smith. I had the privilege of talking to him quite at length. He died in 1962 of cancer. He knew all of them. And I told him, these people, I'm in good company. If these are all kooks, that's a company I want to stay in. Because these are reliable, good people who knew what they were doing. And that's part of the story of why this was done and why I wrote this. Now, if you don't have questions, I'll be glad to take questions. Yeah.
Did you have any pressure from anyone in the military or government not to publish this book?
No, not at all. In fact, I welcome pressure for another one.
Colonel, what was the reasoning, and what is the maintained reasoning behind the government attitude toward keeping this a secret?
Tell you the truth, I can't figure this out. I was on the White House staff. I was on the high station once. Why they do things like this, I don't know. I don't criticize the Air Force. I fought with them in Korea. I have a lot of friends in the Air Force. Why they hire us, make these decisions, and put out this is the public should know this.
Why is there such a fear for disclosure by other military personnel?
I'm just, the gentleman, I don't know. Now, for security, in here is an appendix on Project Horizon. We did Project Horizon in 1959, is putting a military colony on the moon. Some of the best minds in the country worked on this. Von Braun and his German scientists worked on this. This was classified. It was secret. I declassified it under General Trudeau's authority. But when I started to write the book about 2 years ago, I wrote to the Corps of Engineers. And they sent me, I told them where it was and what it was, and they sent it to me. In fact, when I went to see Senator John Glenn, I had to give him a copy. This is only 50 pages in here. The actual report is 310 pages. The moonlander's in here. Mind, this was done in 59, 60, and 61. And that was secret. I think you will see some of the marks on the secret. And I was one of the classified for the general.
By discussing the crash of Roswell, there's other indications that there were a number of different crashes throughout Arizona and New Mexico during the same period of time. Do you know anything about those?
Yes, I know something about those. And also, you can expand that. There were crashes all over the world.
Do you have any idea why those crashes were occurring in 1947 in and around this area?
I have some theories, but...
were we bringing them down?
Remember, I commanded the range, the Army Missile Fire Range right down here in White Sands in 1957-58. I picked up actual objects of my own radars. I had pencil beam radars that were locked on to targets. And my own radars, I was picking up objects traveling 3,000 or 4,000 miles an hour. And the boys would report back to me that once it accelerates, the lock would break. The radar couldn't hold it. And so every time that would happen, I would call them and send me the tapes, because we had tapes which took the whole firing sequence and recorded it so we could go back later. I would tell them, send me the tapes, and I checked them myself. And it was accurate. There were items traveling that fast. Now, possibly they were a little bit afraid of our radars, because we had, for the time, we had pretty powerful radars. The radars that I had, for example, newspapermen came to visit me. I used to tell them, gentlemen, you can take all the pictures you want, but if you have flashbulbs in your pocket, please take them out. I can't turn the radars on if you do, because once I turn them on, they'll pop in your pocket, because those radars were powerful.
Was that something similar to Project Diana that was being used in 47?
I really don't know. Okay. I can go back to that. I was at Fort Riley, but before that I just come from the Middle East.
Colonel Corso, General Douglas MacArthur made some statements after his dismissal from Korea that he felt the next great war would be an interplanetary war that we would be involved in. Would you care to comment on that?
He said that twice. MacArthur headed a unit in Korea when I was there, on keeping track of projects, of UFO projects flying around. Mm-hmm. Then he got disgusted with CIA and the government. Well, the CIA just organized him. He got anxious. He got disgusted with them and wiped it out. He said, I don't want anything to do with it. And then he told General Marshall that. Actually, he got disgusted at our people back here, not at the UFOs. He was watching, he was a believer.
Was it a perceived threat at that time?
Yes, it was pretty accurate. I saw something. I was chief of the Special Projects Director of the Far East Intelligence Division of the Far East Command at the time.
Are there 8 extraterrestrial intelligences that we would perceive at this time as an enemy?
Yes, because when I had the clearances, I had almost all the clearances there were to have, and I had one NSA clearance. And we were aware of